Tony Whitman from L3Harris is with us. He is the cryogenic optical test director for the James Webb Space Telescope. Boy, it's a long title, but we're glad to have you on the show, Tony. Thanks for a few minutes.
Well, thanks for having me on here.
Right off the top, let's talk about it. How were L3Harris here employees locally in Rochester involved with NASA's Webb Space Telescope and the launch back on December 25th?
Well, as your audience may know, right now the Webb is 1 million miles away from Earth. They may have been watching on the Where's Webb website or on the NASA TV channel. And right now this James Webb Space Telescope team is starting a 3-month process of aligning all the primary mirror segments and the secondary mirror to get those pristine astronomical images from deep space, and as well as spectra from exoplanets starting in June. But before they got to the process, someone had to put all those mirrors and detectors and optical components in the right location here on Earth, and that's where L3Harris came in. We were responsible for designing and building the equipment and precision aligning and assembling all those mirrors and detectors onto this space telescope. All those components had to be well under 1/10 of an inch across spans, 20 feet in one direction and 30 feet in the other direction. And not only that, we also had to anticipate the shift of those components from Earth's gravity up to the zero gravity where it is now. We also had to anticipate the shift of those components from our room temperature, comfortable assembly environment to the 400 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit environment of space. And but we didn't rely on just our calculations. We also administered the cryogenic optical test, as you mentioned, here on Earth to demonstrate the whole process that they're embarking on now, to show that that process can work and reach those pristine images that we're looking for. When they get to the end of aligning all those segments, they will have the relative height of those primary mirror segments to within 10,000th of a width of a human hair, or in other words, within the size of a coronavirus. So we put all the equipment together to simulate the environment of space, test that whole process, and also show that we could reach that alignment here on Earth before it went through the gyrations of the launch of space and all that unfolding origami that it went through. So it's just remarkable that they will be able to get all that alignment to that nth degree out in space.
Yeah, remarkable, kind of an understatement when you lay it out the way you did. I'm curious, from an L3Harris standpoint, how many people are we talking about? How big was the team that was involved in this project?
We had over 300 employees involved in the last 20 years. But it wasn't just L3Harris employees. We also used, I would say, at least 20 companies in the Rochester metropolitan area taking advantage of precision fabrication and aerospace assembly in the area.
How do you think the talent of employees in Rochester helps for programs like NASA's Webb Telescope?
The L3Harris Space and Airborne Systems in the Rochester area uses employees that have had experience putting together space telescope assemblies that dates back all the way to our Eastman Kodak Company roots. We go all the way back to making space telescopes to orbit the moon to find landing sites for the first astronauts on the moon. So we have a long history of people skilled in aerospace technology, precision optical assembly, and we take advantage, as I said, of the industrial base in the Rochester area. We also take advantage of skill sets developed by our local technical institutions like the MCC or RIT or the University of Rochester.
What is that skill set? What makes an ideal candidate when you take on projects that are literally out of this world?
So it runs the spectrum of high-tech engineering, whether it's optical engineering, image engineering, thermal engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. We use all those skill sets. We also, all the way down to the hand assembler, someone who's very methodical and meticulous with how they put things together with their hands. We use that full spectrum of technical skill sets in our facility.
And through a range of projects, no doubt. To that end, let me ask you this. So what's next for L3Harris? What programs are being worked on now that we might learn about at some point in the future?
So we're in the middle of many space programs. In fact, when I returned from the test back in 2017, I started on NASA's next generation great observatory that's following the Webb. This is called the Nancy Grace Rowan Space Telescope. And this telescope is designed to solve or go towards solving the mysteries of dark energy, dark matter, unforeseen galaxies. This telescope is images similar to the Webb, but will cover 100 times. We'll be able to take pictures of the universe 100 times faster than the Hubble telescope that we know today. We're also working on a project called LISA, which stands for Laser Interferometer Space Antenna. And that is 3 telescopes that will be in a triangular configuration on orbit. And what they do is measure the relative movement of those 3 telescopes to detect gravity waves. So you can think of it as a gravity wave telescope. And those telescopes are about 1.5 million miles apart. And as you can imagine, they're designed to shine lasers from one telescope to the other and measure very sensitive movements because, as you know, gravity waves are so small we can't perceive them as humans.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly heady stuff, and it's fascinating to think that so much of this work is being done by talented people right here in our community at L3Harris. Tony, thanks for a few minutes. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Hey, if you want
Thanks
to learn more online, the website is L3Harris.com. We'll share that link as well on our site at RochesterFirst.com.